themselves now are there for us as an assembly, you know. We are happy with their air course, no, and we are hoping say she share so yeah they are too no bibia betimi akonkan so that we are able to strike that balance no be now the four no betimi ediomodwa now of course the county exercise to ensure say there is a free flow of traffic within the central business district any other areas in no betimi akonti bibia air course Jojo as planned
ya driver for no threat na say omo we no ultimatum no mudi ma ye nti na mayor ba ye ya o say mayor di congestion and I say na mayor aye ne hihye ye say say o makwan ni mu da ho
maminka say prior to this very exercise mayor is here a cross section of stakeholders na market leaders ka ho transport operators no so ka ho afi we had representatives from Guta, we also had representatives from civil society organizations, traditional authorities no so ka ho na concerns na ye pick from all these other stakeholders, no, coupled with assembly, nankasa, the ratification to embark on these exercises to decongest the central business district, no, it be share, main kanasa, no.
Na mushia na droba for ne kan ho.
Oh, they were part of.
Any then no mu pi abonten. Se mushia na musi oh.
Of course, intino.
Osha. Pesi wo ye nie. Afi kura na mabanti me chia mo pese mitu na mo we a. Se nkese se omunya abotire twen meyo. Afi de prekopa mo se hwe ye free Tuesday 20th yi ko. Ye be yes strike ye nya adwuma kwan ni mu a kire dodo.
Inti Osha as part of mayor engagement, extensive engagement, any participation or team here into no almost plans now the person we were able to assure them say at the assembly no the modalities na shareholder that to the say team here to ensure say we free the entire central business district of congestion no inti senamekano no ebishia no at least assembly no senamekano no we are happy with what has gone on so far. And we are hopeful say a plan any strategy mayor honorable Michael Pakwalote area to ho any bind there to ho for these traders no in the coming days we'll be able to exhibit all these plans. We share exercise now. Let me state that we are doing it in close collaboration with the Clote Municipal Assembly. Inti Omo MC Honorable Atugezi was part of initial engagements. Now even going down to speak to the hawkers personally, he has been part of this exercise. Inti prior to this very exercise, after Mayor Ishia, the entire stakeholders, no, on that Saturday before the exercise, no, he went down there to meet the traders personal one-on-one.
Really?
Yes, and Jambo
no say o man tishe nka kan ntem kire wo mo there's a video from La Paz o si o mo ba ye di congestion ti ye si munyi mo ntoma within 10 minutes em se hono mo tontoma ne maniama oh before o mo be kan jack no na je say e dan na ba fo man
ma men kan bi say na me kan no this exercise is being done in collaboration with the Clote Municipal Assembly. Baby our boss is it falls within another municipal assembly. Now focus areas now you decide in as much as other sister assemblies almost more plans to also decongest their areas and we will have to get them to respond to those issues. But within our zone now, we share from Tudu Enclave all the way to railways. Now Wabefa from even ECG all the way through Rollins Park, UTC, Fakatamanto in Nimho, China Lane in Nimho, no, Eba Befa from Cocoa Board in Nimho, and also that other aspect falls within
that is the CMB hono.
The entire CMB enclave Nankasano, part of Circle enclave no. I think you focus on Kanishin, we check Kanishin in as much as the Pamplona area is a little bit congested. No, we had to ensure that we reposition these traders well, not pedestrians into intimate move. That was why the mayor 3 days ago reintroduced the red line policy, to regulate or more. Let me state there, Mayor Aka said this exercise is not to displace any trader. And in as much as I hear you more every street in Sunday, there is a no-go area. as for the street, it's a no-go area. But on the pavement,
maybe I will change the not just the Amokano CBD Central Business District on the yes, and then now Abedu Circle. Now I call Carnation. Now Carnation also no. Aside that, the footbridges are also a major issue. We went in to ensure say there was a sanity. Of course, said the offer Carnation footbridge now.
And then you will see. Say there is nobody. The pictures are all over for people to see. Say we've cleared them off. We are going to ensure. Say Senator Mayor announcing, as part of the 24-hour operational model, we are going to introduce a special task force to ensure say they police these areas. Now, exercise here, we've beefed up our task force. To police these areas. Indeed, there is a form of law and order through the Central Business District. And then Mayor began the rounds as early as 5 a.m. To move around the city to ensure say our boys are stationed at where they are supposed to station. No trading activities, especially on the road.
Inti omo mapamo mono mo koshe say edwadifo no nsanko because ye hu bi pen makopam omo no ade be chana mo koye na few hours
of course
na omansan
of course we have our task force what these various areas ensuring that they don't come back. Aside that, Mayor had been very engaging and then ensure say there is that participation with respect to the decision to decongest. Into the traders themselves, so they appreciate the need. Say a quite no sono mudano and yet say omo into Osha in Shisha Mayor Ede to also meet them halfway now. They appreciate and they welcome those particular initiatives. And the usual form of course, we have one or two issues, but generally, the operations has been very, very smooth.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, red line policy. No, you're there because it said you're the phone being so just. Oh, dear, my uncle, your chica crana, muyi, crowd, dear, a bear, dear.
Of course, Senator Canon. It is worrying. Let me state here. Say you have some let me say media personnel moving in to see the traders on the pavement, and then you conclude to say the traders are back. We are not clearing them from the pavement. That is why from the streets, no so there is a no-go area.
And I say pavement, so you're for pedestrians.
Yes, of course. And in as much as the assembly understands their plight, the mayor government is listening, and in as much as we appreciate the fact that there are structures we need to put in place to deal with this entire issue. But to manage the issue, of course they are on the pavement, but the issue is they've occupied the entire area that is where the red line policy comes in. So the mayor himself decided to bring this policy back to remark these various pavements. So into your red line area market pavement. So not more part of the pavement. So we have pedestrians also using part of the pavement.
Much pavement in the
exactly.
More the red line achieve.
Into
the red line
exactly.
Now pavement in a
of course, you can get your men to go out there soon. And we've done all these analysis.
Maybe
and all
that. Pavement,
not of course, not all the areas. We share areas now. On pavement, it's actually a no-go area.
And the red line,
red line, say maybe on the connection.
I know them microphone sign because I made them a share to say to do one on fire service on the police station for anymore. Meaning say one pavement, to me a red line. TB also Makosha, I had a red line to do Rollins Park one more. Rollins Park opposite on stores no. Bones or more be almost on a bell anymore magifa. Now or more ton idea, no force to follow Mujina Quine to know. It be most of the old trace or pavement and so. To once enough a quine I say. Inti so be or no was no more pamonoa. Or share you are fire service or the 2 or the boss now then I made me the mean to maintain now. Because Ghana phobia to me sign red now no you can't die as a mobility stop work produce permit no and conform to me market to over the phone now crowd to your sign red line almost
it can never happen. That is why this time around we have beefed up the task force. And we have our task force policing all these areas. There are no-go areas for. Let me use this opportunity. When you bought Abaye, Mayor can say, Jumedia the and yet the usual Abaya assembly, no, a banner with force. Into which a lot more of the areas, no, it's more engaging, more participatory for the traders themselves to understand the need to move away. Because in Sicily, they appreciate those interventions and they welcome the NT. It is not the usual barrier we are coming in with force. Mayor, I instructed task force and say this exercise is not the usual barrier, and that nobody should use any form of force. But that notwithstanding, you know, when we come and then we let you understand, say move, and you don't move, of course, we will move you.
I see. And we task force we usual abaye no and so
yes, that is what we said. This is not the usual sort of force.
And what is the difference?
Yes, we are not using force this time around to get these traders off the streets. Yes, sure, we saw the traders themselves moving away from some of the areas. Yes, they are no-go areas. They understood and OSHA interventions are here. They've welcomed these interventions. If you say, I can say in specific, we're going to introduce your friend a rotational trading system within the entire, government has the 24-hour agenda, and Accra is not going to be left out. As part of these markets, we are going to block specific streets, specific days within specific areas are assembly, notify these areas, and we will allow these traders to trade on these various days, so that at least you have some 2 days.
Now it's a market days.
Yes, specific market days.
Blocky streets cars never fine.
Oh, of course. Don't forget, we manage the city. We are the city authority, and we are working closely. This exercise, Mamenka said, the Metro Security Council is fully supporting the mayor to embark on this exercise. All modalities with respect to the rotational trading system, as I speak to you now, even signages are ready and all that. We've had
those baby, but London is back in baby. Sundays are market days, but a park. Inti park is no mudi jano. Now we are as a way the be quine so no. And I may
of course. You say on Sundays within these we are a city authority, and we know areas are specific days are traffic jam within the central business district.
Creative further problem.
Of course not.
And more money of
course not.
Market day now.
Of course not.
Now if you must have a pet time,
of course not. That is why we are going to ensure. Mayor has announced there is going to be a 24-hour security where ever provide this security for them to also ply their trade. And before this very intervention, we've had extensive consultation with the market queens and all that, and they've bought into these ideas to do this thing. And the idea will be later they will decide to stay there and not move, not at all. We respect each other's views, and we are very hopeful. Say these interventions and other interventions are here. It will go a long way to helping dealing with the issue.
So more the red line policy number, more rotational market. Question in say. Mo who say mo need space ma wo mo enti na mo ye ni sa na if you say in the course of the week then na make can so adwadifo mo nti ase na mo tun free ho na so omo so se ye ni baby ti se mo ma omo baby aso mo beko assembly no was space e ma say adwadifo yi ana o need space.
Of course, you need say space is limited in the central business district.
Nti mu tu omo yi it's not say mo wo baby a mo beka say o market ni mu ha kwan da ho.
We appreciate the fact say the market leaders nankasa kano say there are shares in the market for their traders. They know them. But as an assembly no so you need say of course enyo mu nyina na obetimi akogu ho. And until a big pavements so no. Until we are not into this place any of them. So we, as an assembly, we appreciate the fact that the space is quite limited. In now, what we are doing is a lot more of the areas we are redeveloping and then building more shops within the city center.
Okay.
As part of assembly, market redevelopment agenda, the government has assured, and through the mayor, say funds will be provided to complete, for instance, Slaga Market, other markets such as London Market, any other Kwasiajaso and all that. We've redeveloped some of the markets in the past. Okay. But there is that assurance that funds will be provided in as soon as possible to ensure that these other markets within the metropolis, they are given that facelift to be able to accommodate more of these traders. And, we are hopeful, say, when these interventions in the short term, medium, and long term, it will go a long way to help in dealing. We appreciate the fact that the spaces are limited, and we are trying to meet each other halfway as an assembly and the traders as well. Government has said is not in to displace any of them, so we are looking at other alternatives to let them also do whatever they are doing. We regulate the activities, because just as we're saying, Uba City Center during weekdays now, because of the activities, the traffic jam is too much. And if at least we will have that 5 days without such obstruction, especially when it comes to vehicular movement, it will go a long way to even promote productivity. Within Omoankasa markets, there will be a lot more people who decide to now even come into the market to even buy, because when they come, they can move about.
Market inside, no can say spaces behind shed anywhere. The sheds say on Crawfordia.
Yes, me can say sheds. The market queens have made us known. Say some of the sheds are empty, because Crawford have moved outside.
Okay. Into some more shirts, no.
Yes, some of them.
Some of them do.
Yes.
Into then more shirts, no. Back say.
As I speak to you now.
Shop now, store now, shed.
Yes. As I speak to you now, we are working with the market queens to ensure say more shares. In the assembly, is in the coming days. We are going to come out and say occupy these shares for some amount of time. We're going to take those shares away from them and reallocate the shares.
What do you identify?
Of course, we've identified the couple. We are looking at shares within the Mokola itself, 31st itself. There are some shares within those areas. We're looking at and even with the shop owners. You even have some shop owners or more boys we even have some of these
in such situation when they in the shop.
Yes, so we're extending it. Of course, all those ones are being dealt with.
How is it being dealt with?
Of course, ensure say if you are not supposed to be, those who are not supposed to be on the streets, you can't be on the street. If you are also a shopper, you have taken over the entire pavements. Now we ensure say we deal with you.
But you see red line policy now.
Of course, you need to ensure say you operate within those areas.
Is it going to work?
Of course, it's going to work.
Mosha me Ojidie said this time when you support all right. And so be on no more. Mayor Michael Oteni anu bi edikan aba omo beye ebedu baby kra recent one minister mu an ebeye honorable Henry Kote ya na fe aka mfimfini ya na fe aka mfimfini fi se ye ni baby edi omo ko motwem ho anso ana wo mo aba nti make sure na masen adwen ho se we ebeden are sustainable.
Sustainable. Senator Mekano earlier on, who shared the public support now. We've never enjoyed this public support over the years.
So,
yes, of course. We've never
had
assembly. Yes, we've never even had in this, and there are people who are out there and they appreciate the fact. So we've never even had instances transport operators even come out say openly say they want to go on strike because of trading activities on the street. We've never heard it in this country before. Indeed, a lot more of this stakeholder support, the political will, also plays an important role to ensure its sustainability.
Okay.
I feel so saying issues of enforcement are very, very key.
Okay.
That is why this time around the task force has been beefed enough to be able to police all these areas. aside enforcement, so the provision of the infrastructure, conducive environment to get them to also work, and also play an important role. That is why we are ensuring, say, this time around, we are not displacing any of the traders, clearing them even entirely off the pavement. We are ensuring, say, in as much as we clear them off the pavement, so they also have portions to be able to do their business. There is that buy.
Baby, I know, yeah, if you say, oh, by now, me say share video, be an
yes. And yes, that particular instance, if you look at it clearly, a peculiar issue.
Okay.
We have a bar stop.
Okay.
A bar stop, and that particular bar stop is being used for trading activities. And we have commuters standing on the shoulders of the road. Say,
so bar stop,
the bar stop now a provision shop.
Bar stop nina.
Bar stop nina, opposite sides nina.
I see.
Is this the way we want to go? It is a bar stop. And so far as it's a bar stop, it must be used as such.
Incident no more resistance.
Of course, I know we don't know. And Mayor has said, say Obi Edi Sika Amobia, this is the time, go and then take your money. The assembly's doors are open. Wakase Obi Edi Obi Sika, come and then officially report the person to the assembly. Say, wait, Edi Sika, and he's ready.
Just say now
of course, yes, and we are
for team members,
Mamenka said this very exercise for us as an assembly, we are very confident in the task force. They cannot be compromised because they understand the need and the job, the duties at hand to ensure.
They may not be compromised easily, but they cannot be compromised.
We are part of whatever is happening, and we say, Obi Aji Obisika, this is the time.
Okay.
Come to the assembly, our doors are opened, and officially come and then report to say, we Aji Usika for this particular purpose, and we can assure say we'll deal with that particular officer.
Afe ejadi phone ko na mu tu omo ana so say mu tu ahyenkanfo so if you say ejadi phone so be di omo kan say driver phone so kra kan omo so fifinu kra na omo agina na omo fa passenger na omo offload passengers.
You are very right. Oshe dia ekoso na per the assembly's control of hawkers bylaw, per the road traffic regulations, anything that is obstructing the free flow of vehicular and pedestrian movement, one way or the other, we need to deal with it. Currently, we are managing the pedestrian aspect of it.
Okay.
But for the vehicular movement, we appreciate the fact that it is not only the traders who are causing the congestion. The transport operators themselves, my senior brother, Abbas, Mr. Abbas, PRO.
Alhaji Abbas.
Yes.
For GPR.
Yes. So let their members also understand, say, you should not be parking at areas you are not supposed to park and do your loading. And no,
yeah, no makasa. Ebi akasa no money omo kan so ye be decongest e kwan ni mu amom ye be traders na feel but now you are saying say bibia
no let me tell you say mayor ni engagement with these stakeholders are almost causing issues. No, share the pictures. If you go to at Accra Metropolis, your Facebook or your social media handles, during engagements, you even see mayor moving some of these drivers off the streets into air. They are consistently, we've made them understand. Say they are some of their members, are more patient, especially not going into. We've had instances of unapproved stations within the Tudu area. Mayor has cleared those particular unapproved loading stops and all that. They should also
Tudu area Urban Street, Urban Dabraka, when nature na shop ne will say
yes. As part of the movement the other day, we had one police officer there. He instructed said those entire vehicles are parking be arrested. We doing these assignments, and not only concentrating on traders. All other aside Omokra, Okada for parking indiscriminately on the road.
All
those areas and we want them to understand. Say they should find a place, especially for the for the transport operators. The stations are there for them.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
The stations are there.
No.
The stations are there for them to go.
Okay.
If the stations are there, why are they not entering into the stations?
No,
of course, maybe
GPRT for space will home.
They know them. They know the spaces are there. They know the spaces are there for them. Of course, we need to get them to answer those we've heard
and some money are indisciplined.
We've heard a couple of them say Omona and on Mutiminia passengers. What sort of
that brings me to my next question. What I say be obstructed traffic into more share ready for more share drop for or more Tony Aman so.
Yes.
And I you could do.
Thank you.
Yes, so
before no mama even deal with the pedestrians. And we want to urge the pedestrians to use these areas we have designated for them to use.
Okay.
We don't want them to be walking on the streets. Streets are not for vehicles.
Okay.
And as part of engagement now, information service department there, it's part of communication, to let's say this time around, there's a ban on drumming and noise making. Until we are not able to use megaphones to do some of, until we have the information services going directly to these traders one-on-one. And letting them understand. Yes, of course, especially looking at the fact that there is that ban. Of course, we've seen the results all over. We've seen the results, and we are poised to ensure that we sustain this very exercise, especially to clear the streets so that there will be free flow of vehicular movement. And let me state there, Mayor called on the Gamanche, Kintaki Tekuchu II, and His Majesty applauded the mayor for work being done.
Okay.
So the council itself,
council also supports
the council led by the Gamanche has pledged support, and they've even assured, say, in the coming days after rituals and all that, they will join the mayor to move into these areas to ensure, say, the work that has been done is sustained. In terms of stakeholder support, we have that stakeholder support. And as a city, we would ensure that we deal with these issues so that at least we free congestions, while we also put in measures to accommodate that local economy.
I mean, who say Muka regional minister no eka meaning say mu de mu ye AMA, but as a enya Accra pe na CBD hope. Once I maybe can La Paz, Madina, Denta, there are other places any other. Munamuya, what to say, be a Munya no more baby for no, and our regional minister be some to say Henry Cotta Bresso, so muno. Now, what she said, assemblies now can so a bit to me.
Yes, now before that, let me state briefly, say, the issues of sanitation are very, very key.
Okay.
Now, and Nekra Mineo say, may call around the. We assessing the sanitation situation to look at how best to be able to deal with the areas to ensure cleanliness.
Which part of sanitation and which aspect of sanitation?
Rubbish
gathering.
Yes,
not
necessarily those ones. Currently, solid waste management in the city are issues of littering. Hard drink. Now, streets, so they also contribute a lot to some of these things. Clearing them is giving us that clear picture to be able to analyze the situation and then find ways to be able to do the entire cleaning. Now, back to
before you go back to that meeting, say may also introduce waste separation into solid waste from liquid waste. And then me bisa executive secretary Kwame Pon say, hey, na Ghana had the very possible, sir.
Very, very possible. Now, in the coming days, Sena Wakano will be introducing the Clean Accra project now. Then ebe ensure say within the 24-hour, as part of the 24-hour operational model, sanitation plays a key role. And we're going to ensure say Mayor Waka said within the 24-hour cycle, there will be cleaning in the city. The cleaning will be done.
How would they do that? Every 8 hours, Ubiaba. They said the amount of performance.
Currently, as I speak to you,
and the mayor vision is super.
Yes, super. Na Osha currently me no Kasei Krano, we don't leave waste in the city uncollected for a day. Never, it has never happened. A lot of Myanmar
market,
of course,
not
at all. You can, of course, not at all. You can get your cameras to move out there. Of course, we appreciate the fact that you see pockets of littering around. And measures are being put. Sure. They should move out there. Not at all. Within the central business district, you can never see heaps of refuse. No. At all. The cleaning is being done on daily, and very soon we'll invite the media on one of our usual evening cleaning days. Now, I'm following.
Senior 24 model cleaning.
Yes, they be sure to ensure say cleaning will be done periodically in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and then before cleaning has been done already. Clearing these traders off the streets will also go a long way to deal with the issues of the littering and all that. It would generally help in getting us a very clean environment as a city.
No, the be anani pan share that my no crano to do on a bimo by 2 a.m. Bebo for no nafi a why but me share wianwa. Why you busy no? Cleaning no mobile anything.
Yes, Senaya can share within the central business district now issues of solid waste management. The challenge has to do with littering.
Okay.
Inti measures, littering. Inti ubia wanum the special ICC or share her or your trader. Because na or the atoho into so sorry I not me free as a then let me put it down.
Now you PR no what can they come or chame what crap one shut as a
my emphasis now Eddie see horse see no even now as I speak to you, when you go to some of the areas, you see the traders themselves are more pet beans. And their cities or more mundi beans, or more pet rubber can see ya. A man for a tremukra or normally pure water with me at the we will be encouraging a lot more of these things. And also with the waste segregation now.
So be penny bend this you are. We are no muko one who said we are cleaning enough on the 24-hour model of cleaning. Now say basa moko ya mobe fa aka mobe collected that
of course garbage. Of course. Share within the central business district now. Waste are or more generating assembly exercise all those waste. Good among fancy or infamail would, as we have been doing, we will ensure say we pick these waste, and we have baller taxis all over all these other waste within the city, and just as I've said, it will go a long way to promote waste segregation, recycling, and all that in the city.
Segregation, mobile anything.
Of course,
OSHA separate solid waste from liquid waste.
OSHA segregation, we're basically going to issues of liquid media, and currently as I speak, the city has the capacity to deal with issues of liquid waste management. Waste, yes, but solid high in Gakra, will be separating plastics from papers, and then food waste itself. Currently, as I speak to you now, the assembly explored mechanisms are we turning these food waste into biogas. And all that. So, yes, Oba assembly, of course, we have a biogas plant there, and the restaurant, they are using that particular plant to as fuel. And we are going to promote more of these. Currently, as I speak to you now, the assembly veering off a little bit. We've launched the Climate Youth Fund project and all that, and there are projects within these are other areas we putting in at least within the climate space, and also a bit in the food waste. Will be doing that separately. Papers will also be separately packaged, whilst we have the plastics into a bit boa, and it will promote in the recycling.
So separation and segregation, at what point now, the workshop one and all chrome hona or generating waste, or no now here 3 dustbins, where paper waste, where food waste, where plastic waste, and also say no kita 1 bin. Name mom say AMA call for collection of those garbage. Now we could do more site. Then more segregation.
Of course, in as much as I know, currently we're promoting separate bins for separate waste. Now, individually,
no,
yes,
at least by 3 bins.
Yes, currently as we speak, they are within the entire central business district now. It more has to do with plastics.
Okay.
Currently, gathering them in one bin or one, very, very easy, because maybe obi abe chicha brodier any, and no, we don't have those. Most of the time it has to do with plastics and then papers.
Okay.
And that is where the concentration is, so that we'll be able to source out these various.
Matthias, but me busa say for na mo bekwa koye sorting no e wo dumping site ho no and also say sorting no nhyase e wo nipa na onu generate waste
we are promoting
say ya utie unya dustbin too.
Yes.
Into rubber there no fagu bakum na say paper
exactly
fagu fufu
exactly say we are promoting say people should have separate bins. I bet me yes source separation here.
Okay.
Because all the boom any years are into if say rubber big crown or unum unsu we are now odi atuma mai say another one or paper beer and also odi atuma mai, and we come and then sort and pick them up specifically for such recycling purposes.
Okay. So the congestion we move we that ben
this congestion exercise we may I can say is a 3-phase exercise. Today it's Friday. We will ensure say these other areas our men are there to intensify enforcement.
Which other areas?
These areas are we have a men there. We'll still be monitoring the situation next week. And also we'll put in measures to also ensure say we monitor situation. Areas are we need
a free Monday,
and
also still decongestion and as see a more monitoring phase.
Of course, as part of monitoring, we appreciate say there will be pockets of issues about 1 or 2, and our men are readily available to deal with those other issues within those other areas.
Meda wase na next time sign for information no bebre bra na me nya no say na me hwehwe but wabo modern me enkran no maintain
there na opa and let us
Omwame. Still, into segregation, once I require no my baby image because I'm wondering how I'm noticed or no better as here. Obenya 3 bins and
of course, a bedding, but I say it me chas here, if baby. Until we are, it's a gradual process, okay. And with the support of the media, with the support now, so be at least until being crowned now. Say rubber black and no very affordable. Ubeti pure special IC atom. Until low cost, no, you bet me starting from somewhere. Not together, no, in more.
Sure. Why the one you should cry promo ama specializes midawasi. Gilbert ni ankra and the brofona does because or no or encrying into what dika akache Mrs. Sister so tiase na misia metiase but as I see din common so make the phone so if who say sign na mo kono sign na mo ye no ama omo enhu baby omo so be fa say the phone mo say ya mark red line amamo. Sa red line no mama kiamamon and tra red line mo kan ye no mate omo shate no mo pam sisi idea mo say red line bi kra wa ha ma mi bi say o my red line na o ma brem red line say mo sign tra red line no ko na fe ye ba na ye ho kam ne ma na mo gi ye do a ene ye be kwa akofre AMF na mo maba enti ye nye ne KJB na me na Gilbert ase papa na me na mayor ase say mayor I'm still hoping na Gilbert kra na twi obese any mayor de minim say the just o kabro for na my interpret but still mayor you can still come you speak English I'll be your translator that day. Honorable Michael Alute, na executive secretary to the mayor Kwame Frimpong Kwame Midasi pa Gilly, thank you. Yebeko so ana yedi nkomo mo se yema mo support. Yedi support no be mamo na motumi aye ni ye. Pacho yebeda ye ho akwaba ye koba ye ne kane second vice chairman ema NPP ye Ura Sami Crab enso ebe empunimpu part 2 ye kwaba sisia.